Show me a move. Good news, everyone. Don't you little diggy when you see onions have
Welcome to 20th Century Boy. My name is Radio Mike, and cut the bed immediately. Sorry, guys, I just had to cut the bed immediately for some reason. Hey, I wanted to get straight into it this week and cut the bed really early, but now I realize in the time that I've taken to say twice that I wanted to cut the bed early, I probably just could have, not cut the bed and have the bed. Now I've wasted all this time. But anyway, we need to move. Sometimes in life, you just need to move on. And now is one of those times. And that's why I decided to cut the bed. Moving on. Last week, Thursday, there was no episode. Now, I imagine this is only an issue if you listen to the podcast every week. If you don't listen to the podcast every week, if you're listening to this in 10 years, then maybe just skip this part because it's not really relevant. Because if you're listening in 10 years, this is already out. There was no time difference for you. But then I wonder if people will be listening in 10 years. It would be weird if someone in 10 years, when I'm 34 years old, goes, hey man, just started listening to your podcast. That'd be so weird. But anyway, if you have just started listening and it is the year 2030 or the year 2029, send me a message. If you've just gotten to this episode in 2029, send me a message. So there was no episode last week. This is coming out on a Monday, which is really unusual. And I just wanted to take some time to explain myself and why the episode wasn't out on time and why I'm doing it on a Monday and what the rest of the year and the summer looks like for this show. But I wanted to preface it, and I've said this a bit, but I did want to say a massive thank you to a lot of people. It actually was really cool because a lot of people clearly knew that a podcast didn't come out and, sent me a message about it, which was awesome. I guess in some way that was awesome because it made me see how many people are actually listening every week. And I did do a post in the group for this podcast, facebook.com/group/20th Century Boy. I said, it's finally happened. I've run out of time to do the podcast to come out tomorrow. I want to get it out as quick as possible. Sorry everyone who looks forward to the show every Thursday. I'm sad it can't be there. And I was really sad because I did kind of commit to myself that I'd do one every week, but it just got too much. And shout outs to all the people who messaged. Radio Matt Coffey, welcome to the radio family. He said it's all good. I'm sure everyone understands. Probably intern Mike's fault anyway. And to be honest, I guess it more than likely was your fault, intern Mike. Nah, I actually took last week off, so it probably couldn't have. I had exams. I had my health exam. Oh, how'd you go on your health exam? Not bad. We had to measure the diameter of a girl's boobs again. But you already did that for an assignment. Yeah, I know. But why was measuring the diameter of a girl's boobs a health assignment? Again, wouldn't that be a maths? Nah, it was maths health. It was maths health class. What's maths health class? Why is there two classes for maths and health? Why is there one combined? Is there still maths and health? Or is there just maths health? No, there's maths, there's health, and then there's maths help. What? Why would there be a conjoined class for that though? My mum's just ringing me. Hang on. Okay, you go do that. Radio Jordan Browder, he just said that he's only waiting for his Damo update. That'll come later in this episode. Radio Greg, welcome to the radio family. Radio Greg said, glad to hear it wasn't delayed because you were attending Damo's funeral because no one gives a fuck about a minor character's funeral. And special shout outs, I'm not going to read them all out, but Radio Christina with a K, Radio Andrew, Radio Whitey, Radio Superstar Pat, Radio Danny, even Radio Mitch and Radio Sam. Tons of people reached out to me and were like, hey, just take your time, and that's cool. And I have taken my time. And so I just last week, I feel like I just was putting a lot of pressure on myself to meet deadlines on this show, which was good, and it's not like I didn't want to, and I do want to do the show, but I love this show. I realized by not doing it for a week how much I love doing this show, and it's probably my favorite thing out of all the things that I do. It just kind of, it just became like too much amongst everything I was doing. And then I did like a 12-hour day last Sunday and and yesterday, like from when I'm recording this. And I did tons of like, I did a day where I did breakfast radio, then stayed and did drive radio. Then I did like a demo, like I recorded a demo for another thing at my work, like for 2 hours after that. So I did like I think I did like a 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. day, and I was just absolutely wrecked. And I just got to the Thursday. Oh, and then also I've moved place. I'm living in a new place now, which obviously took up tons of my time. And I had to I've moved into a new apartment, which is really cool. And that's kind of another story in itself, which I might try and talk about a bit this episode. But yeah, I moved into a new apartment, which involved a lot of like physically moving stuff. I borrowed Jack's ute. Jack Post has a ute. I had to borrow his ute to drive like a fridge and a couch over to this apartment, carry up the stairs with my dad. We carried the couch up the stairs that I got, and then we realized it didn't fit through the door. 3 flights of stairs, no elevator. Pretty stupid. So had to then carry said couch down the stairs, and then get another couch and carry that up the stairs and put that through the door. But it's really cool. I'm actually recording this back at home, like back at my parents' place, because I wanted to keep all my podcast and studio stuff at my parents' place, because like they've got a really cool like garage area like that I've kind of converted into my studio. And yeah, so I'm doing that here, but it's just really cool. I'm back in my own place, which I really like. It's a bit further out from the city than like what I'm used to, but I'm actually really liking it a lot, and I'm loving like the independence of that. So all that work on top of moving places and just a bunch of other like personal stuff that was going on, and I just thought I can't do it this week. Like I'm not going to get to doing it this week. And I think that's fine. And no one seemed to be overly bothered by it. And so how's the podcast going to run for the rest of the year? So there will be an episode on Thursday that will come out, and that's also my birthday. Feel free to send birthday messages to me that day. And also this one today is going to be a little bit more unstructured, just because I'm still short on time. I'm still wrapping up work for the year. So there'll be another episode on Thursday. The week after that will be Ed of the Mike's wedding, which I know you're looking forward to a lot of the Mike. Yeah, look, me and Siri have actually been abstaining from having intercourse and coitus. We're only doing hand stuff at the moment, so I'm really looking forward to getting the wedding over and done with so we can have a cheeky fuck sesh. Wow, Ed of the Mike, that was really... that came out of nowhere. You don't usually talk like that. Yeah, it's all the pre-wedding jitters. I've just got the pre-wedding jitters. Oh, sorry, Mike. I just had some of the pre-wedding jitters. Oh no, that's all right, man. If you got your pre-wedding jitters, that's fine. But that's awesome. So the 19th of December is your wedding. We're going to do the podcast live from your wedding as well. So that's going to be a bit of an adventure. Yeah, absolutely anything could happen at the wedding, but mainly me and Siri just saying our vows and being wed by the celebrant, who is yet to be named. But we're just going to do that. And that's all that I think is going to happen. I don't think anything crazy or outlandish is going to happen. You know, how could it? Everything's set to plan. Siri's very excited. I don't think anything could possibly go wrong. Yeah, well, that's great. Well, I'm sure something will go wrong. Everyone seems to have bad luck on this podcast. Yeah, that's true. But no, I'm in high spirits. I think things are going to be really good. Yeah, that's great. And because I'm behind, because I missed one, like even though this is supposed to be the one that I missed, I've decided that after Ed of the Mike's wedding, on Christmas Day, I will put out a 20th Century Boy Christmas special where me, intern Mike, and Ed of the Mike might sing some Christmas carols and might just get together and have a bit of fun together, because I think that'll be really cool. Just have a little Christmas party. We'll record it before Christmas, but it'll come out on Christmas Day for you to enjoy over the Christmas period. And then, intern Mike, did you want to jump on the mic, mate? Yeah, come on over. Yeah, thanks. I was already on the mic before. I think now we all just have our own mics. We used to do this thing where I'd like come into the frame, like I'd do this, and then I'd just like come onto the mic, like from the left. But now I think we stopped doing that. I think we just all have our own mics now. Yeah, no, we do. You're right. So just stay on your mic. All right, I'll just go over to my mic. Hang on. All right, here I am. All right. Hey, man, I just want to say you have done such an amazing job, and it's been such a pleasure having you as the intern on this podcast this year. Yeah, well, thanks, Mike. It's just been... No, I'm not finished, man. I just wanted to say, like, it's been great, and you are great, and you're going to do big things in this industry, the podcasting industry specifically. You won't really do much outside of the podcasting industry, and you'll never really progress from intern, but you will do big things in the industry. Well, not big. You'll do big things for an intern, but they'll still be relatively small things in the grand scheme of things. Thanks, Mike. That's really awesome to hear. Can I tell the guys about my project that's coming up? Yes, you absolutely can. So, intern Mike, over January, you will be doing on this podcast feed. Don't go anywhere. The user experience is the same. It'll get pushed to this exact feed. You don't have to subscribe to anything new. You will be doing your own podcast, and it will be Intern Mike's Summer Break. Yeah, so I just thought it would be really cool, like when Mike goes on holidays, to actually, did you just say holidays? Yeah, when you go on holidays. What's holidays? Isn't that like when you don't have to work anymore? Do you mean holidays? Yeah, no, I mean holidays, sorry. When Mike goes on holidays, I'm gonna come in and record here by myself and I'm just gonna do one a week for all of January, and I'm just gonna talk about what I got up to over the summer. Like, I'm just gonna talk about, maybe I'll go to the beach. Maybe I'll go to the park. Maybe I'll go to the other beach that's a bit further drive and Mum doesn't like going there because the waves are too big. Maybe a girl will touch my dick. I don't know. But anything could happen, and I just want to do it and just see what happens. And I'm just going to, it'll probably be like half an hour every week. You can just tune in to Intern Mike's Summer Break, and I'm going to fill you all in on because I think it's really important that people know what it's like to be 14 in Australia, because I don't think there's enough people on TV and radio who are 14 from Australia. So I think it's really important that we get more 14-year-olds in Australia on. Okay, fuck off, Intern Mike. We understand. So Intern Mike will be doing his Intern Mike Summer Break over January. 20th Century Boy will take a brief break in January. We'll be back probably sometime mid to late January, but the content won't stop. And also, I've actually been thinking a lot about, again, what this podcast will be in 2020. It will return in 2020, but I also I want to grow the podcast, and you guys have been so great. And actually the last few months of the podcast, every week has been growing. The listenership has been growing, and people have been going back and listening to the earlier episodes, which is really, really cool to see. And the downloads are up, which is great because they were kind of stable for a while, which is also good. But I was just thinking of what the best way is to grow the podcast. And I was speaking to Lewis, my friend, about it, who reckons that video content is the best. And I tend to agree with that. But I would love to film every episode of this, but we encounter problems in the fact that the podcast, there's a few things in this regard that I want to talk about. So firstly, when I wanted to do this podcast, when I set out to do this podcast in the first place, the main thing I wanted to do was make a show that reminded me of the shows that I really liked when I was Intern Mike's age, say. And the things that I always really loved when I was growing up, and the things that I looked forward to were two things that this podcast is really inspired by. Obviously, is Hamish and Andy, and particularly in the sense that I like to produce openers and sound sweeps and use grabs and use flashbacks and those kinds of things, which was always a staple of the Hamish and Andy show and the podcast. So that was always something that I wanted to achieve by doing this show, and I think I've done that really well and had production and sketches and those bits and pieces. But the other thing that obviously that I really, really liked growing up was Chris Lilly and his shows Summer Heights High and Angry Boys and We Can Be Heroes, and particularly those three, and where he played an array of different characters and they all kind of had their own personalities and they never really interacted with each other. And I always wanted to do a show where characters would interact with each other and they were all kind of me. Not that I've done that yet, but I guess we encounter problems doing a video version of this podcast because, obviously, obviously Editor Mike and Intern Mike are here with me, but they're kind of invisible, if you know what I mean. Yeah, like because we couldn't get a camera to fit all three of us. Yeah, exactly. And I just wonder if I do a video podcast where I film the entire podcast, maybe that'll like break part of the charm of this podcast in an audio form. And then I thought, well, what if I just fire intern Mike and editor Mike and all the other mics? But then I felt like they were a big part of the show that people seem to really enjoy, and they're a driver of the comedy of the show. So I'm not really sure. And if anyone has any ideas on whether that would be jarring and if they would even watch a video, it's more just so I could make clips to share around, because I think clips get traction. And I want to kind of do some more video stuff and actually buy a camera and start doing some more pop culture kind of stuff on YouTube that's like actually video stuff, because the stuff I was making earlier in the year was so hard to edit, and it just, again, was like a time thing. Because and that's the thing, the most time consuming part of this show is the production. It takes a long time to like just do the grabs and to add like even like basic production. It just takes time, and the production of this podcast can turn into like, 8 hours, as opposed to me just sitting down and doing something which might take 1 hour and then a few little bits and pieces. The other thing is, if I filmed it, I would want to do as minimal editing as possible. So I'd want like all the sound effects and stuff to be like on the little thing here, like all these kind of things I would want to just be able to press, which means that, like it's hard, because for video production to go up, does the production of the podcast go down, which I don't necessarily want. Like, it's hard, and I'm still trying to make decisions, and I'm interested to know what you guys think, because I obviously don't want to change it into something that's worse for what you want. But I love doing this podcast, and I don't want to stop doing it. And I'm actually really humbled by like the little community that we've actually started to like build, and the group goes off, and like, for example, Radio Harrison. Welcome to the Radio family, Radio Harrison. Take 10 mic points. He's found a screenshot on Pornhub of a user called Intern Mike, and it says, "What is the diameter of your boobs? It is for a maths assignment, and if I don't work it out, oh geez, Principal Fuckhead is going to expel me, and then I really won't be able to play FIFA 07, which is so much. Whoever's done that, I assume it's you, Intern Mike. Nah, what's Pornhub? I don't watch that. Yeah, whatever, man. Whoever's done that, that's great. And then Principal Fuckhead's commented on the post, and he says, "Good to see my students hard at work," which is hilarious. Yeah, so like I really like that, and I want to keep the radio family's the best. It's the best family in the world, and I want to keep it intact, and I want everyone to keep enjoying this podcast. Speaking of the radio family, I want to do a special shout out. A couple weekends ago, I did the Luke and Lewis live show in Melbourne, which was a lot of fun. I played piano, which was really shit. And what did I do on it? I got an award, and I talked down to Keelan, which people seem to really like. If there is, and that was really fun. Go check it out on their feed. I don't know if it's not out yet. It's the last. They said it's the last one they're going to put out. And then I also did, through Keelan, at the Perth show, I did a Mike's Likes. So I wrote a script for Keelan for my old segment Mike's Likes, and then Keelan read the script as if it was me doing it, which I heard was reasonably well received from some of the radio superstars. There is a radio superstar chat now that we all chat in, which is great. And again, speaking of radio superstars, Radio Dilrook, welcome to the radio family, Radio Dilrook, who is will have 10 mic points. He's Dilrook Jayasina, a fantastic stand-up comedian. He's done a post on Instagram that I saw because I follow him, and it's him with the radio team Chrissy, Sam, and Brownie, which is a breakfast radio team for Nova 100. And in the caption, he says, it's him with those three, and he says, "Final drop in for the year to say farewell to these radio superstars." And I just said, Dilrook, none of these people are radio superstars. What are you talking about? So I think he's a bit confused. Funnily enough, I actually, earlier this year, I emailed Dilrook to ask him if he wanted to come on this podcast, and he said yes, but he was traveling overseas at the time, and then I forgot to get back to him. So that's something we can potentially look forward to in 2020. And I also really want to get Ryan Shelton on this podcast, because he's just, again, one of my major inspirations for a lot of the stuff on this show. One thing I want to talk about was yeah, at the Luke and Lewis gig, I met, I met radio superstar Bailey and radio superstar Pat, which was fantastic. But most importantly, and dare I say it, most disappointingly, I met Disappointment Judman. One of the most infamous members of the radio family. His name is High Donator Radio Disappointment Judman, and he was banned from the show for a while for failing the radio superstar test, and then I think we unbanned him after 6 weeks, and then he donated $50 to raise money for 1-800-GET-FUCKED, the official phone number of the podcast in which people can leave voicemails that can end up on the podcast. So we ended up calling him High Donator Radio Disappointment Judman. Really disappointing meeting, as you would expect. Really disappointing. It was his birthday at the time, which he mentioned, which was also disappointing. Like, he wasn't humble about it at all. But no, High Donator Radio Disappointment Judman is a really nice guy, and it was great meeting some of the radio superstars. We got a photo together, which again is in the group, and that was really cool. So thank you guys for coming along, and I know you were there for the Luke and Lewis show, but coming and chatting to me, that was really, really cool. And I loved meeting those guys. So if you're ever at one of those shows, usually I go along because I love working with the boys and I love hanging out with them. So I'll usually be there, which is great. Here's what I want to do today. A few podcasts ago, it might have been the last one or the one before, I mentioned how I've started becoming addicted to this game, Sea Battles, which is on Game Pigeon within your iMessage conversations with people, where you can play. Well, the game is called Sea Battle, which is essentially battleships, but it's royalty-free battleships. And I got addicted to it for 2 weeks. Haven't played it in a long time. A few people during the week sent me requests to play Battleship. I think Radio Jordan Brower sent me a request to play Battleship over Facebook, and Radio Whitey got one too, but I lost it. I've lost interest now. I don't want to play anymore. I've battleshipped myself out. I sunk my own battleship for playing Battleship, or playing Sea Battles, and so I'm not playing it anymore. But there was one person at work who I was trying desperately all week to challenge me in, all that 2 weeks to challenge me in a game of Battleship, and he just wouldn't accept it. And when I invited him to play, he just said no. And I said, why? He said, I work for a living. And I said, what about this weekend? He said, I wouldn't hold my breath. Now, eventually, it was a Friday night, and it was a Wednesday night, and I rang him. His name's Radio James, by the way. Radio James. He used to work with Luke and Lewis as well. You might have heard of him. Great guy, great young producer, good friend of mine. And he basically wouldn't accept the invitation. And then I rang him and said, James, I need to tell you something important. And he kind of freaked out because he's a really serious guy. And I was like, I need you to open our iMessage and accept to play Sea Battles with me. And surely enough, he rolled his eyes basically and did it. And then we played one round, and that round ended on the 27th of November. He has not made its move. I can't move because it's his move. And then yesterday I saw him at work, and I was like, oh, hey man, how you been? He's like, yeah, good. And I was like, hey, I really need to give you a call tomorrow to chat about something with work. I just want to get your advice on it. He was like, yeah, no worries. As long as it's not you. He literally said, as long as it's not you calling me during my day to ask me to play battleships with you. And I was like, no, not at all. I'm done with battleships. I just want your advice on something. Guys, here's the joke. I don't want his advice on anything. I just want to call him to ask him to play battleships. So, Ed of the mic, if you will, punch in the number. Let's give James a call and just see how he responds. He's expecting the call. He thinks it's about work. Okay, it's ringing. Hopefully he picks up.
Hello.
Hey, it's Mike. How are ya?
Good, Mike. You're coming up as no caller ID.
Oh, am I on private number? That's weird.
Why are you doing that?
No, I didn't realize I was on private number, man. That's weird. I don't know why I was on it.
Silly boy. Silly boy.
You at work today, or are you heading? You finished up?
I've wrapped for the day. I'm just heading off to get my ears suction.
Oh, you're getting your ears suction. Nice, man.
Yes.
Hey, can I just talk to you quickly about something to do with work?
Yeah, sure.
So I was wondering if you could do me a favor that's work related. If you look in your iMessage conversations with me, you'll see that we've been waiting for you to have your turn in Battleships since the 27th of November at 6:19 p.m.
It just sounds like you're recording this to go into your podcast.
No.
And
Why would I
I'm
do
calling from well, because for some reason your audience would find this entertaining.
No, I just want you to make your move in Sea Battles.
Okay. How many people are you doing this to?
Well,
Or is it just me?
I'm only doing it to all the people who didn't respond to Sea Battles for over a week, and that's
And
just
how
you.
many people are you playing sea battles with?
I was playing with probably over 10 people, but I've now lost interest. But you guys, James, I am on my
Yeah.
podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Yes, good.
Here you go.
Okay,
welcome,
hi, everyone.
welcome to the podcast. Have 10 mic points. Guys, I am proud to announce that Radio James has officially
What?
made a move in Sea Battles. And, James, you know what the result was. I've just looked at it. How'd you go?
I missed.
Yeah, you missed.
Yeah.
I'll make my turn and then it'll be your turn again. All right. Oh, I've got a hit. I've actually got a hit. Hang on. I've got a hit. I think I've sunk one of your ships. No, I've got 2 hits there. Anyway, man, that's all I really needed advice on.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Thanks for waiting for the rest.
All right, see you, James.
See you, Mike. Bye.
Bye. You sunk my battleship.
Yep, righto.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, James, before you go.
Yeah.
If we're talking battleship terms, was this phone
Yeah.
call a hit or a miss?
Annoyingly, I think it's a hit. Your audience is a hit.
All right, bye.
See you, Mike.
Well, that went really well. I got him to play, and I got a hit on his on one of his ships. Now, if he doesn't respond within a week, I'll do another one of these. All right, one more thing, and then we're doing Harry Potter and the Boys. Radio Leon Day. Welcome to the radio family, Leon Day. Now, in the last podcast, we've been doing this segment called Shrek Facts with Keelan from the Luke and Lewis Show, and he's been a great contribution to the show. Keelan brought a fact on the last edition of this show, of this segment, where he claimed that the first and last words spoken by Shrek in Shrek 1, sorry, the first words spoken by Shrek that aren't narration in Shrek 1, and the last words he says in Shrek 2 are both that. And he presented that as a fact. Now, Radio Leon Day, or shall I rename you to Shrek Sleuth Leon Day, and welcome to the radio family, Shrek Sleuth Leon Day. He's posted in the group and he says, I would like to call into question the Shrek fact, in inverted commas, presented in episode 45 of the podcast. It was claimed that the word that is the first word Shrek says outside of narration. I am also an avid Shrek fan, and this fact seemed off to me. As you can see by this script from IMSDB, which I assume is the Internet Movie Script database, I have checked several different sites as well. It is a false statement and not a Shrek fact. The first sentence he says is, like that's ever gonna happen, after reading the fairy tale book. However, the first word he says is like. However, it can be claimed this is still part of the narration. If we are to agree it is part of the narration, then the Shrek fact is still false. His word would then be yes, not that, because of the sentence yes. Well, actually, that would be a giant. Keelan's Shrek facts are hilarious and enjoyable, and I do not wish for the segment to become once every 2 weeks instead of once a week. However, as one Shrek fan to another, I would like to see more accurate facts. He's also then posted a picture in the group of the script of Shrek 1, proving that he's false. I've commented Keelan is a dog, which is what I do. Radio Superstar Pat says, geez, he can't get a break from making mistakes on podcasts. Radio Leon says it's in his nature. And then Radio Keelan, welcome to the radio family, I guess. He says, sorry, it's a rush thing. I skimmed through Shrek while at baggage claim last week. Radio Superstar Bailey also said, the dedication to this podcast from this community is terrifying. in reference to the fact that Radio Shrek Sleuth or whatever the fuck name I gave him, did all this effort just to find out if Keelan's Shrek fact was true. I think what we have to do is get Keelan on the line just to get his explanation on this and we're not going to do a Shrek fact this week. He's going to have to, well, no, let's do a surprise Shrek fact. Let's do it. Get Keelan with a surprise Shrek fact. All right, it's calling. Hopefully we get him. He's just got to, out of nowhere, give an accurate fact. If it's not accurate, he gets banned for the rest of the year. He's not going to pick up, I bet. At this crucial point of his career, he's not picking up. Oh.
Hello.
Keelan, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, man. Don't want to put you on the spot, but we're doing this!
Keelan's weekly Shrek facts.
Oh, okay. Can you call me back later?
No, mate, I can't call you back later because Radio Shrek Sleuth Leon Day has complained about one of your facts. He said it was completely non-factual, which would defeat the purpose of the segment Shrek Facts. So, I've decided to put you completely on the spot to come up with a fact.
Right, sorry, give me a sec.
No, I need a fact in 10 seconds. 10, 9,
Okay,
8,
no,
7,
I'm
6.
I'm back.
Okay, what's the
Yep.
fact?
Can I just clear my throat?
Okay, what did you do last night, man? You sound like you've fucking smoked 100 cigarettes or something.
So you want a fact,
This is
yeah?
Keelan's Shrek fact. I need to clear my throat. That's you right now.
What kind of fact do you want?
Any fact. You're stalling. I know you're stalling, man. If you don't do an accurate fact, you get banned for the rest
About
of the year.
Shrek?
About Shrek? Yes, about Shrek.
What Shrek movie?
Any of the Shrek movies. We just want a
Have you
fact.
got a preference?
Yes, Shrek 2.
Oh, fuck.
Is that your weak point?
Okay. They use... wait. Can I have, like, 3 chances?
Can you have what? Yeah, you can have a few chances. Just stop stalling as of
Okay.
now.
The cover they used for Ever Fallen in Love was by Peter Yorn or something.
I couldn't even
That
hear
was
that.
okay.
I couldn't even hear that. Speak more clearly into your mic, man.
Oh, sorry. The cover they used for the Ever Fallen. You know what? Can I look something up? Because I have nothing.
Keelan, I'm really sorry to say this, man.
No, okay, wait.
But you are officially banned from Shrek Facts. I'll give you one more. No, you have to bring an accurate Shrek fact to Editor Mike's wedding on the 19th of December, or you are banned from my podcast forever. That's the ultimatum. Okay?
But I
No.
have a fact right now.
No. I don't want any facts right now. I want an accurate fact for Editor Mike for his wedding. He wants an accurate fact. Don't you, Editor Mike? Yeah, Keelan, I'd love an accurate fact if that's a possibility because, you know, quite frankly, we're getting a bit disappointed with these non-accurate facts.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Well, I'm going to let you
19th
go.
of December.
And I want a good fact. I don't want better than Shrek's kids are called Farkle, Fergal, and Fergus. None of that shit, mate. Bring your A game or bring your S game, your Shrek game. Mike out. All right, Keelan's gone. All right, let's wrap up the podcast.
Harry Potter and the Boys. A live reading by Radio Mike.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
Snape. So, someone messaged me the other day and they were like, because at the end of that, obviously it's like Dumbledore or whatever it says. And Radio Mitch made that opener for me. Shout out to Radio Mitch. On that opener, someone was like, "Hey man, I just realized. Did you realize that the opener to Harry Potter and the Boys references the Potter puppet powers?" Which, like, yes, I did realize that because, like, I'm a fan of Harry Potter, and if you don't know the Harry Potter puppet powers, then, well, I to be honest, I don't really know. I don't really know what I can do to help you, but that's really funny. Look up Harry Potter puppet powers, because it's really funny. Harry Potter and the Boys, it's my Harry Potter fan fiction. I wrote it when I was in year 7. What of it? I think in the last chapter, 2 of the boys were playing in Hagrid's band, and there were 3 people at the concert, and one of them was Dragon Mailboy, a character who died in like chapter 4, who's suddenly back. So let's go on with chapter 20. We're really near the end. There's only 25 chapters. Chapter 20, The Return of Dragon Mailboy. Mailboy? Said Tom. That's right, said Mailboy. It turns out I wasn't dead. Great, said Michael. Tell us your story. We're really interested. He snarked sarcastically. But if that happened, you would be interested. It's like when Jesus Christ resurrected himself from the dead, he wasn't like, he was, people were like, oh, geez, Jesus, fill us in. We're really interested in how you're here. We all saw you crucified, but we're so, like, you would be interested. All right then, I will, said Mailboy. My dad sent me to Hogwarts because this year he knew that you 6 morons were coming. The reason he wanted me here is because he would be able to come here often to have meetings with Winston Charger, aka Mr. Charger. As you may or may not know, this year the Shaft of Light is at Hogwarts this year. Hang on. It says, as you may or may not know, this year the Shaft of Light is at Hogwarts this year. And the shaft of light seems to be a big star-shaped shaft of light that can turn babies into basilisks, which is really fucked if you ask me. And soon it will destroy everyone in the school, even Harry Potter. All we have to do is destroy Ron Weasley. I suspect you've already figured out the letter clues on the ill-fated measures. You wrote them? Tom interrupted. The ill-fated measures were like a series of notes that would drop down from the sky every time a bad thing happened to the boys. Let me finish. Of course I didn't write them. I'm going to have to start from the start, said Mailboy, but a cold, dark voice interrupted him. Oh, please, Dragon. Let me. Tom and Michael looked around. It was Boris Mailman, Mailboy's father. You're a murderer, yelled Michael as he raised his wand, because in the last chapter we found out that Boris Mailman, when he was a student at Hogwarts, killed both Michael and Rob's dads while they were students at Hogwarts, but they were like first years. So it was unknown how they even became their fathers, because like they were first years, they were like 11. They definitely couldn't like reproduce at that age. So he's calling him a murderer. Please, you couldn't kill me with that, he said calmly. Now, let me tell you the story. Many years ago, when Winston and I were at school, we were prepared to live up to our dream, defeat the evil Harry Potter. Evil? Harry Potter? Asked Tom, looking confused. Quiet, you. Petrificus totalis. Tom was put into the full body lock and couldn't move. Now, where was I? Oh yes, as I was saying, we began to work for Voldemort. He told us to build this shaft of light. Now, I wasn't much of a builder, but Winston was great at it. It took him the whole first term to build it, and we had to make sure that no one found out what we were up to. So, unfortunately, we had to kill your father. Yes, tragic, I know, but we had to, or else they'd spread the word to everyone. We managed to kill about 19 people of the 20 that we needed to kill, but we just couldn't kill that blood traitor Weasley. So in this book, Ron Weasley is like really powerful for some reason. And you never will, shouted Michael. Don't talk over me. Weasley will die this year at 10. There will be no escaping, and if I have to kill everyone that gets in my way in the process, I will. In fact, I think I'm going to teach you a lesson. Avada But he was cut off by Mr. Charger. No! You heard what Lord Voldemort said. You don't kill anyone yet. First, we must get him to the most powerful student here and kill him, Mr. Charger said. Who? Asked Mailman. Derrickson. Derek Derrickson. And then now we're on another page, and it just goes, bang, 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 fart. Mr. Charger, Boris Mailman, and Mailboy were gone. The boys looked up at Hagrid, who had fallen asleep during the ordeal. Two adult men come in and start harassing 2 of the students at the school, and one of the former students who was thought to be dead has come back to life, and Hagrid just falls asleep. He's got no time for that. What now? Asked Tom. Well, now we have to save him, said Michael. Save who? Asked Tom. Derek Derrickson, said Michael. And Ron and, well, everyone, I guess. The boys ran back to the Gryffindor common room and at once explained everything to the boys. So what do we do? Asked Luke. It's obvious, isn't it? Said Michael. What? Said Sam. We have to find out where the shaft of light is. Well, you and Rob can go. There's no way I'm doing that, said Lockie. I'm not going with him, said Rob, because Rob and Michael had a fight in the last chapter or something. Yeah, lied Michael. Come on, guys, stop this, said Sam. No way, said Rob. They all went to bed. The holidays were almost over. The boys only had one more day of freedom. At the start of the second term, they would have to do exams. Harry Potter decided to have exams for every year level when he first became headmaster. The day was almost over, so the boys decided to visit Hagrid. Hi, Hagrid, the boys said. You better go to potions now, said Hagrid. It's the holidays, yelled Michael. Oh, I have a gift for you, Sam, Hagrid said. He moved over to the cupboard and pulled out a giant picture of Sam. Thanks, Hagrid, Sam said. Aren, A-R-E-N, ya, Y-A, happy Sam. So he's like, Aren, you happy, Sam? I can't figure out if that's a typo or if it's meant to be aren't you happy, Sam? Or if it's meant to be are you happy, Sam? But it just says, Aren, you happy, Sam? That's the new catchphrase of this podcast. Whenever like you want to check if someone's okay, you're just like, Aren, you happy? Yeah, it's great, said Sam. Excuse me, Hagrid. and then it says, Hagrid says like a big word that seems to be a lot of smaller words put together into one word, but I'm going to just do space bars so I can figure it out. Are ya into Kento you do? Are you into or Kento you do? Whatever that means, said Hagrid. What? Asked Tom. I ain't talking to you two, said Hagrid. Okay, so that's what it was. Oh, great. Just what we need. Oh, so Hagrid's angry at Tom and Michael because they fucked up the band performance to get nearly killed by Mailman, and Hagrid was asleep. Man, this book's fucked. I've nearly had enough of this shit. When the boys woke up the next day, they were greeted by Hermione and told to meet her in the Transfiguration room for their first exam. Your time starts now, she said. The boys looked at the paper. And this is like a question on the exam. What spell would you use to turn a person into a shovel? That was something that actually was in another chapter, so this is a real exam. A. Sectum Sempra. B. Sector Sempra. C. Jom Tomono. Or D. Sectamono. And then the next question is, how do you say good morning in Japanese? A. Ogenki desu ka? B. Ohayo gozaimasu, which is correct. C. Beep boop. Or D. Boop beep. It was the easiest exam ever. So were the others, except the potions exam. Every person's exam was different. The Slytherins had the easier questions, and the Gryffindors had the hardest questions, and the meanest. Here's a question from the potions exam. What best describes Gryffindor? A. The worst house. B. The best house. C. The second worst house. Or D. The second best house. and then Luke just goes, well, I definitely failed that one, said Luke. All right, that's the end of that chapter. The next chapter is called Chapter 21, the chapter with no subject, which sounds exciting and it seems very short. This is that was a cool chapter. We're really getting to the end of it. That's about all we got time for this week. I think there was one more thing I wanted to announce. Oh yeah, the Damo thing. What's going on with Damo? So Damo is actually some good news for Siggy Mike, who's currently in jail, potentially on murder charges if Damo dies. Damo is actually recovering really well, and they actually, like, it's not 100%, it's like a 60% chance that he's going to come out and recover fully with minor butt injuries, but he might have to get a butt transplant, which is really good. But that's really promising for, that's super promising for Siggy Mike to get out of jail, but I can't say anything yet. Also, another shout out to Radio Mitch. Radio Mitch messaged me. I think he texted me this week, and he said, I was talking about how Harry Potter and the Boys is such a shitty, like, potty humor, 13-year-old humor kind of thing. And then he's like, hey man, I love how you criticize Harry Potter and the Boys for being all about potty humor, but you did a whole thing on your show about how Siggy Mike did a shit so big that it broke through a floor of an apartment. But anyway, we're really into, like, this podcast is all about highbrow humor anyway, so, like, whatever, Mitch, don't complain. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to upload this right now on Monday the 9th of December. The next step will be on Thursday the 12th of December. I hope this is all good. Sorry about missing the episode. You can still get merch at radiomike.com.au. releasethesounds.com is still up if you want to get some stuff for Christmas. Yeah, I guess order that. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. This podcast is one of the coolest things I do, and I love doing it, so thank you very much. My name has been Radio Mike, and this podcast has been the inside of my mind. Catch you later.